Okay, so I've got two of my EXI squadrons. I've got a completely stock one, and then I've got an upgraded one. Now, the stock kits, they work fine. Now, there are two parts, however, I really feel that you should upgrade. The first is the seesaw assembly up here in the top. What it is the plastic arms on the seesaw assembly. First time you crash, those arms are going to break right off. So you really need to have a full CNC seesaw assembly. Now, other than that, the only other piece that I really think you should upgrade is the plastic tail box on the back here. Now, myself, I've not had good luck with them. I've had problems with them loosening them up and rotating while I'm in flight. So I found the easiest way to get around this is if you go to XHeli's website and you go to the EXI Squadron spare parts page, you can find the CNC tail box for $18. And what this doesn't come with is already on your helicopter. So again, $18, you swap this onto this using the original parts that this doesn't come with. There you go, you got a full CNC tail, and you'll never have to worry about any of the problems associated with a plastic tail. So I'll go ahead and show you real quickly how to install this and how easy it really is to do this. First step to installing the CNC tail box there is you got to get the boom off of the helicopter, and that's really easy. You just take off the screw on this side and then on this side, and that'll let you take the night hut bars off. Then all you got to do is loosen up the 4 screws here and then the 4 screws on the other side, and that'll allow you to push the boom forwards to relieve tension on the belt, and then you can slide the belt up over the pulley inside here. Now, if you have servos mounted here like I do, you will have to unmount the servos to be able to get the belt up over the pulley, because the servo mounts right over the pulley here. So that's pretty quick and easy, but after you do that, again, you can just push the whole boom forwards, pop that belt up off over the pulley, and then pull the whole boom out the back. Okay, with the tail boom off, now what you got to do is go ahead, on the bottom, disconnect your linkage down here, then go ahead, remove these 3 screws, that'll pop your fin off. Go ahead, loosen up the other 2 screws on the other side. Then what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to pull the whole tail box unit right off the back. Now, one thing to keep in mind when you pull the tail box off, the belt is going to come with it. Okay, so now you got to disassemble the tail box. And to start this, the first thing you do is go ahead and take this screw out, and when you take this screw out, you can take this little arm off. But be careful, because when you take this off, there's a brass washer that sits right underneath this, and it may just be sitting on the tail box, or it may fall off on the ground. So just be aware there's a little brass washer there. And the arm will actually just pull straight up and off. And you can see there's that little brass washer. And put that off to the side. Now, what you're going to want to do is up here, you're going to take the Allen grub screw and loosen that up. And what you're going to be able to do then is pull the whole tail shaft, or the blade grips here, tail pitch slider, right off the tail shaft. Alright, so now we're left with this. So now what you're going to do is go ahead and take the rest of these screws out, and you're going to pull the tail box apart, and then we're going to take the tail shaft out. Okay, and then you can just pull this straight apart here. Pull it up, and this is the belt. Got the one end here, and now you need the tail shaft. Okay, the tail shaft will pop out of the bearing there. You may have to fight with it a little bit, but again, it will just pop right out of there. So now what we're going to have to do is go ahead and take the screws out of the aluminum tail box here, and you can see I've got the thread locker here. This is the blue stuff. Make sure that when you're putting this all back together, every one of these bolts has a little bit of thread locker on there, just a little bit. So again, now you're going to take this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and that one off. This little one right here, you can leave that on there. But take those other 6 off, and then you'll see this will pop off, and you'll see a bunch of parts fall off. Okay, you can see the CNC tail box disassembled here. So now the 5 screws here, these are all the same, and then the 6th one, this is a little bit longer. This one goes down in the corner here. But again, the 5 of them, those ones are all the same. Those are all the top ones and the outer ones. It's just this 6th one, the bottom corner one, that's going to be a little bit longer. So you can see here, now what you can do is you can take your original tail shaft there and go ahead, pop that right in there, and slide the new one down. So now what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to get the belt over the pulley, alright? And this is when you're going to want to put you install this right here where this was. And so again, you gotta have the belt over, install the pulley, and again, it can be tricky. And then use the screw and tighten it down, but don't tighten it down all the way. Just barely, where the threads start to grab, and then stop. And again, as always, make sure that before you start putting it in there, you put a little thread locker on the threads of the screw. Okay, so once you get the first one started, you can go ahead and slide the boom mount down and just go through one by one, starting each screw. Get it started, then move on to the next one. And remember up here in the three, you got these three little collars up here. The long one goes down here in the corner underneath that. And just so you know, the three screws go that way from where the shaft is coming. Okay, now just go ahead and slide the tail pitch slider and all that stuff back on there. Tighten your grub screw down and make sure, again, put a little thread locker on that grub screw because you really do not want that coming loose. And then go ahead and bolt this right on here and make sure you get that little brass washer underneath there. And again, put a little thread locker on that because you're going, anytime you got a metal bolt going into a metal part, make sure you have thread locker. And then after that, you just go ahead and feed this through the boom. Okay, so I've got the CNC tail all mounted on the boom. Got my belt fed through, and I've made sure that when I pull on the top of the belt, the tail blades move in the same direction, and that the movement is nice and free. So now I got to go ahead and insert this in the boom, or into the helicopter here. So what I need to do is I need to take the belt and make a 90-degree turn, like that. It's just like that. And then I'm going to slide it in. And with this one, it's got a little slot here that you can see. So you'll be able to tell to make sure that the belt stays in the same position that you want it to be in. And you can just go ahead and slide that through. And sometimes you may need to poke it through with a screwdriver there. But bring it through, up and over the pulley. Bring the tension back. And then just make sure that when you spin it by hand that it's moving the right direction. And then you're good to go.